I'm live. Hi, and you're live. Anyway, this is Tori Magoo 44. Thank you for coming by, whatever time you come by. I have people from around the world that come sometime in the morning tomorrow. For me, it's tomorrow. For them, it's today. Anyway, whenever you come on, I'm happy you come. I was in Scientology for 30 years, which is a long time. I'm going to take that out. It's a little mint that I had. Hey, hi, DT. I was in for 30 years, which is a long time. I mean, for people, they hear that and they're like, 30 years. But hey, Kelly, hi. Hi, rather be in Maui. Good evening. It's good to see you guys. Hi, Queen. Oh, wait, something just popped up. Got to get rid of it. Gypsy, hi. Hi, Marthena Reese. All right, cool. Janet, hi. Good morning or late night. Exactly. Whichever that might be for you. For me, it's late night. It's 10 to midnight. And I do a show called Midnight with Magoo. And that happened because I am new to live chats. And a friend of mine, Jessica Palmadessa, was kind of teaching me about it. And as I watched different people, they were all, they're all during the day. There's a ton of people doing it. And I thought, well, I'm kind of a night owl anyway. So why don't I do Midnight with Magoo? Because my nickname is Magoo for a long time. I escaped out in 2000 from Scientology, as most of you know. But anybody listening who doesn't, that's what happened. And I wasn't going to speak out. I wasn't going to make videos. I wasn't going to, I wasn't going to write anything. I was just going to go under the radar, leave, be very quiet about it. But Scientology being who they are, they had to keep picking on me. And what do you know? All of a sudden, I left LAX as a Scientologist. And by the time I got to Chicago and then to Tampa Airport, I was an activist. And that's because of them. It's because of all this stuff they did. They canceled my van. The plane was canceled. The vice president was at LAX saying, we know where you're going. You're not going there. Which now she says, oh, that was just an accident. I just ran into Tori. With a stack of papers about every single person I was going to see. Hey, hi, Janet, from another planet, 12:50 a.m. in Alberta. All right, cool. Hi, Connie. Hi, Grim Adam. Doesn't sound happy, but I guess it's fun. Janet from another planet, that is funny. Yeah, I know, the name is great. I love it too. It really is. A lot of people have good nicknames on our chat. It's really good. So anyway, long story short, they kept picking on me. And so I became an activist. And I started out just kind of protesting in Clearwater, Florida, which is where I went. I'm here in LA, but we got me out of LA because of their dark group. And I knew they'd be after me, which they were. So I met with Bob Minton, Stacy Brooks, and Jesse Prince, and Mark Bunker, and they were protesting, and they said, "Come on with us." So I thought, okay, I will. So that began my protesting, and then I was writing on the internet, and a lot of people, Scientology had people paid to write lies about me. So there's just thousands and thousands. Back then, this was 2000. There were. It was just unbelievable the amount of stuff that was coming my way. And a lot of people were afraid of Scientology. So people that are activists now were still in the church, right? Almost everyone that I know was still in the church. Aaron was still in the church. Nora was in the church. Mike Rinder was in the church. The Headleys, it's like a lot of them when I left were still in. And it took them a while to come out. And I met a lot of them. I met Jenna and the Headleys and Jefferson Hawkins and a whole bunch of people when Anonymous took on Scientology in 2008. So that was really fun. But that began my speaking out officially. I was doing, people were inviting me to come speak, and I would go speak because they didn't know much about Scientology. And this is a funny thing. People always say, well, I don't know anything about Scientology. And I go, and that is by design. They don't want you to know anything about Scientology because then they can say, why don't you come on in our building? And then they can sell you stuff. And it's basically, that's all it is. It's just a money-making scam. They have that building in a game, Tori. Really? Which building? They had that building in a game. I just remember I forgot my water. So I'm going to have to drink out of my Trader Joe's thing. Of course, I met Anonymous. They called me in this bedroom. I was here and they called me. What had happened was, wait. Let me see what Janet said. I watched all of Mad Picket with Mark Bunker and the protest with Bob Minton and Stacey Brooks. Mark is awesome. Totally. Yeah. So I was there for that. I met Anonymous. What happened was I posted a thing saying I didn't think they were really taking on the church. I thought it was Scientology just trying to distract off this book coming out about Tom Cruise that wasn't a positive book. And so they called me, hello, this is Anonymous, and put me on, we got on Skype back then. And, they were like probably 8 young men. And anyway, that's what started it. They had other plans. And I said, look, you're way, way out of your league. These guys will put you in prison if you do anything illegal. So they said, well, what can we do? And I said, let's do a peaceful protest. And at the same time, Bunker was making his speech about the wise beard man, don't get us in trouble because we're the ones that'll end up getting in trouble. So anyway, it ended up working out. I walked around with them at the complex, which is the blue building. And they said, okay, we'll have 500 people here on the 10th of February. So that began it. I guess it was when they had the Lisa McPherson Trust. Hi, Tori, glad to see you're here tonight. I don't know, Janet, you're saying you guess, that's when we were protesting from the trust over the flag. Query, was he wearing a mask or did you get to see the real person? Are you talking about Anonymous? There were 500 of them here. And no, I didn't see the real people because they're anonymous. That was their saving grace. Because they were anonymous, Scientology couldn't get to them. Well, they did a little bit to a few of them, but not many. I know. I'm glad we did too, Verity. Hi. It was 500 in LA. It was 9,000 around the world. They were in almost every major city in the world. It was amazing. I mean, some had more, some had less, but it was pretty wild to be part of. It really was. It was very exciting. And the media, I knew for me personally, because they'd interviewed me for 8 years, and they would always interview me for like an hour. And then the show would actually end up being 5 minutes, and I'd have about 2 minutes on that show out of an hour, over and over and over. So then once Anonymous hit, they went hardcore. Nightline wanted to interview, I think it was Marty and Mike, who were both executives in the church and now out. And things really opened up. It was really cool. Too bad some wouldn't come out for a protest reunion. I know. Anonymous. I hear you. I do. I think they're busy doing other stuff, but they did tell me if I ever need them, they'll be back. So, I have no way of knowing how to contact them. So come back, Anonymous. I mean, I don't feel right now. I think you guys have got it under wraps. I mean, the people here doing the live streaming is fantastic. I mean, every building in LA every window is shut down, every window. And that's because of the guys with their cameras. It is. And there's nothing you can do about that. Always say you can't take those cameras away from them. You can try to, they've tried to do the, what do you call it? Restraining orders, failed every time. So, I don't know what's going to happen with them, but I don't think it's an uphill thing. I think they're on their way out. That's my own opinion. That's all. But they're pretty persistent. They're not getting any new people in, thank God. I'm thinking about going to 49ers for life. What are you going to? It's funny how it takes a while to get an answer for something. Okay. Back then, the Sea Org did not run and hide. They were pretty confrontational, very. That's why I always tell people, like with Odo, we would go down there and talk to him for a long time, hours. We would talk about all kinds of stuff. It was a different thing. And they had all these handlers that would come out and try to handle us. And that was a whole nother thing. They're thick-headed and keep playing their old tricks. Wise up, Sinos. I know they should. It's like everyone says it's not working. Play a different game. This is not working. It really isn't. But it's really odd for people like me, because that's why I wanted to talk to the parents, about Scientology front groups, because that's a lot of how they get kids in, is with the front groups. I know the handlers are lame. I was one of them. I know, but I never felt like I was lame. It helped me wake up. It really did. Anyway, the main front groups that they have are Narconon, which has gotten into all the school systems here in California. Thanks to Dave Turetsky and a bunch of people, and I helped with it, we got it kicked out of all the public school systems here in California. But you've got to check. If you have kids in public school, you've got to check. Do they use any Hubbard management technology? Is Narconon there? Narconon Education, Applied Scholastics, which is the study tech. All of those are tricky because they're not bad. It's just they don't, like Narconon doesn't really work. So nobody's really getting off of drugs. In fact, they deal drugs out of Narconon sometimes. So I've heard. I haven't seen it, but it seems that there is no strategy from the church now. They just seem to be treading water. Yeah, that's been going on for a while, for a very long while. But the Windows thing that's a new thing, because of the guys with the cameras. In the OC2, yeah, it's dead. It is. Okay, now, Larry, you said that's awesome, Tori. Okay, so which thing are you referring to? Because there's so many things that, go on, and then someone says that, and I think, okay, what was it what do you think is awesome? None of them work. They're only using people to get them in the cult. What does that mean? None of them work. They're only using people to get them in the cult. You'll have to define what you're talking about there. Because the SEAL guys work a lot. They don't work outside the church or the cult, but they work. They work a lot. Did you ever give a conversation with Patty, the old Scientology handler, during Anonymous? A lot of people did. She never came around me. I don't know why. I think they were afraid that I'd help her wake up and leave. Love your hair tonight. Thank you. Thank you, Heather Healer, 44. I love your nickname also. Rather been in Maui. You were talking about front groups. Okay, right. But then someone said, that's awesome, Tori. So what was that about? Hi, Witness. See, Larry says, look here. That's awesome. Here you go. So what was awesome? It's always good to know what you guys like and don't like. And it's also good to know what you have questions about. So if you have questions, please ask. Hi, Janet. Good to see you. I know it now. GTSY. So great. I feel like such a funny person because I learn all this stuff way at the end of it. Hey, Witness, Kelly. Hi, Kelly, YouTube fan. So hi, everyone. So anyway, it's just a thing for parents to look into your kids' schools if they're in public schools and make sure Scientology hasn't slipped Way to Happiness, Narconon, Applied Scholastics into the schools, because it is really a front group for the Church of Scientology. the intention is to make it look like, well, I don't know, Dr. So-and-so is promoting L. Ron Hubbard, so it can't be that bad. He's your dentist, right? And it's like, no, it is that bad. He just doesn't know it. He's brainwashed too. It was my 54th birthday yesterday. Hey, happy birthday, Kelly. Woohoo! Happy birthday. If I knew how to do a whole bunch of balloons and things, I would. Come on, you guys. Somebody knows how to do them. We got to do balloons. That's pathetic. See, that's all I know how to do on here. I know how to do it on other things, but here I don't know how to make, I don't have little emoticons. You are welcome. There you go. Thank you. Rather be in Maui. Thank you for putting all those balloons up. I appreciate it. Yeah, let's have a little bit of a birthday party for Kelly. It was your birthday yesterday. What did you say? You were 50? Oh yeah, like and subscribe. Thank you, Kazri. Thank you. 54th birthday. Still a baby. Still a baby. I love talking to Danny yesterday. And I said, how old are you? And he said, 23. I was like, wow, it's such a beginning of your whole life. I mean, even 50 is like still really young. That's good, Witness. Those are good. Rather be in Maui. Janet from another planet. Thank you. She's 54. That's right. Oh, Sophie's here. Did she pop in? I didn't see her pop in. Hey, Legend Tori. Hi, Marisa. Is this the infamous Marisa? There's Sophie. Hi. I missed you. Slipped in a couple of minutes ago. Anyway, hello. I'm just kind of talking a little bit about the front groups in Scientology and how, and this is another thing I've been finding. I find different things that I've had for years from Scientology. And this is a really weird one. Are you ready for it? It's a passport, Scientology passport. It's a passport to freedom. Look at this picture of me. Oh my God. Oh, this is when I lived in Florida. Wow. And a young lass. And, yep. Tori Lee Bazazian, Harold Bazazian, and Justin. Aww. And then my mother and father and brother. Anyway, here's this is what they do. It's really kind of funny. But these are all the different courses and things. And then as you do them, you have to get them stamped. This was a thing they did. It came and went. I knew it was going to come and go. It didn't last long. May 1989, July 76. Wow. Long time ago. The Handbook for Pre-Clears, June 8th, 1976. The book introducing the e-meter, June 6th, 1971. Wow, thank God I got out of that place. Oh, it's not that it's as bad as you guys think, because, you guys hear all these horror stories and stuff, but there are things in it that are good. And you have to remember Hubbard stole a lot of the stuff that he quote unquote wrote is really based on philosophies and religions and other things like that. So they make sense. Do you see what I mean? I mean, they're not like crazy, but when you find out that he stole it, Passport to Freedom, I know the irony, totally, Cassery. I know I thought you guys would like it. The Passport to Freedom. And it's all these different things. Oh, here's all my folders. Wow. Ooh. Wow. Look at all my folders. Ooh. I have 1 million folders. I mean, it was because I co-audited. Co-auditing means you audit me, I audit you. So you're not paying for so much stuff. For the lower bridge, I co-audited it. So I have a ton of folders because we spent a lot of time. We were like, hey, let's do something else, because we weren't paying for it. It was me and a friend doing it. Oh my God, here's my post held. An auditor, the Purify C. Wow, how weird. I don't remember that. Who knows? Oh God, how weird. It's so weird to look back through this. Class 4 internship. Wow, 1989. Ned for OT's course. There you go. I bet you there's not a lot of people out there that have one of those. Because it just came and went. It was no big deal. Okay, tell us more about the passport, Tori. What does it mean? What does it mean to have it? It's nothing. No, it was just another gimmick that you had to buy, of course. And then as you did a course, they would stamp it. So it was sort of like, this is your passport to freedom. And it literally, I think came and went in a year, maybe 2 years. It might have been 2 years at the most. But it really, was kind of dorky. And I remember when I saw it, I thought, this is really dorky. This is, like way back then, I was like, man, this is a stretch. Truth is made of fiction. True. So anyway, there are definitely pilfered things that get you hooked. Yeah, they are. And there are things that they're not bad. Maybe it's not too bad for a public Scientologist, but Sea Org, they work horrendous hours and get in trouble so easy, it seems. Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that. I mean, I think once you're out of the Sea Org, you're like, what was I thinking of? Because you're working like a slave. To me, it literally is like a slave camp. The Sea Org is. And, the ironic thing is I always wanted to get back in the Sea Org. That was my thing. Because I felt like they said, then you can audit all day. That's all you'll do, Tori. You'll just be an auditor. And that's what I got into Scientology to do, is help people. So I thought, oh, that'd be perfect. It's sort of like joining the Army, where, they give you this pitch and you think it's going to be really great. And it ends up just being a nightmare and you lose your leg. And, it's not anything of what they said it was going to be. So that was sort of how the Sea Org was too. So luckily I have epilepsy, so they routed me out. Good. Okay. I mean, I always say epilepsy saved my life. It really did. All right. Maybe it's not. Okay. Yeah. I just saw there was a fire on L. Ron Hubbard Way around 8 p.m. This past night. Had a small fire. They did catch someone. Wow. Interesting. Well, it's a good thing I wasn't there. That passport, I know it's a collector's item. It is. It truly is. Looks military, World War II era, the passport. Yeah, me too. I think so. I just saw, okay, you saw the fire. The passport has got to be a collector's item. Yeah, I mean, sort of, but who gives a shit? For sure, Sophie, and we could calculate exactly how much Tori's money that Miscavige took, maybe. I already know it's over $1 million, and that's without interest. So it's, in my head, it's like, ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. He can just keep pretending he doesn't know anything about it, but somebody's hearing this. Seems like it's marked down in that passport. Seems like it's all marked down in that passport. No, not anywhere near it. But they have it all marked down. They know exactly what I've done because I have all the folders for it. That's how I found out I was declared suppressive, because I called, I came home and my whole house was stripped. And I wanted to get my receipts to get my money back that they had on account. And I went to get them and they were gone. So I called Flag. And I think I told you guys this story anyway. But anyway, that's how I got my SP declare, which I will show you. There you go. Declared suppressive by the Church of Scientology. And that's right. My only terminal is the International Justice Chief via the Continental Justice Chief, who, by the way, will refuse to talk to me for 24 years now. Don't forget the interest. I'm not forgetting it, witness. Humanity should always feel well. If they are not, we are not in a good place. That's a good philosophy to go by. I don't know if DT's still here. And Sophia, are there any, I guess, I just remembered, I don't think you can do the marked things, the questions. What are your thoughts on auditing now since you've been out for over 20 years? I wouldn't spend a dime on it. I really wouldn't. I mean, I loved the training part of it because I thought I was going to be able to help people. And that was really all I ever really liked about it. The auditing, for me, it just never did anything for me. Not really. And of course, remember, early on, I was routed out of the Sea Org in 1972. I got in 69. By 72, I was already routed out. And so with a letter from L. Ron Hubbard saying, handle epilepsy and we'll let you back in. We'll see you up the line. Well, so I spent many, many years trying to handle epilepsy, thinking auditing would get rid of it, which obviously it didn't. And my mother pointed out, and I should have listened to her. And if your mother tells you stuff, listen to them. It's one thing I learned. It's like everything they said was totally true. But one of the biggest things was, this is not a psychosomatic illness. This is a physical illness, and you need to take your medicine. And she saved my life because of that. Good night, all. All right, get some sleep. Bye, Heart Healer 44. Have a wonderful sleep. You should have been a psychologist listening to people and giving advice. Well, shoulda, coulda, woulda. As Spanky always says, if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, oh, what a Merry Christmas we'd have. So, shoulda, coulda, woulda. There's another one she has. She has all these little jingles that she knows. I can only remember a few at a time. Thank you, Sophie, for that. Thank you for reading my comment. You're welcome, Kevin. Did I read it? Okay, humanity should always... Oh, yeah, that was nice. That was really good. If they are not, we are not in a good place. That's really good. And we in America especially, have to keep that in mind in the next 3 months. So this is going to be a rough hole for Spanky and I tonight, we're just listening to Bob Woodward and the tapes of David Miscavige. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's on YouTube. You can go on and listen to him. When I hear Serge's experiences being an auditor, it breaks my heart. I know Serge had a very, there's some people that had awful experiences, and Serge is one of them. But that isn't, I didn't have anything like that. He thinks I do. He thinks I know about that. I didn't. I never did. I never saw, I never was audited by a child. I never saw children auditing adults, ever. But you have to think, we were public. So we're paying thousands of dollars. So they're not going to have some 14-year-old kid audit someone paying that much money. It just doesn't happen that way. It's a business, and they know they've got to have professionals auditing you. Thank you, Kevin. I meant auditor. I know it. Hey, Witness Honey, Tiff 420. Hi. Please be safe and careful out there. Well, I think that's a good suggestion. Tori, is the passport for your auditing and OT levels? It's sort of an open thing. Like I said, it was just sort of a kind of a scammy thing that didn't last long. It has the code of honor. Do you want me to read you the code of honor? Never desert a comrade in need, in danger, or in trouble. That's number 1. Number 2, never withdraw allegiance once granted. See, so these things, they all sound good. And when you read them, never desert a group to which you owe your support. Never disparage yourself or minimize your strength or power. Never need praise, approval, or sympathy. Never compromise with your own reality. So those are all things that I think are still cool. I read them and go, oh yeah. Never permit your affinity to be alloyed. If you don't know what alloyed means, look it up. Do not give or receive communications unless you yourself desire it. Your self-determinism and your honor are more important than your immediate life. That's definitely a Scientology thing. Your integrity to yourself is more important than your body. Okay, it's a little weird. Never regret yesterday. Life is in you today and you make your own tomorrow. That's very much a common self-improvement thing. Never fear to hurt another in a just cause. It's good. Don't desire to be liked or admired. Good. Be your own advisor. Keep your own counsel and select your own decisions. Good. And be true to your own goals. So those are all. Now they say at the bottom, it says L. Ron Hubbard. Let's see if I can get it. Let's see. Maybe I have to do it upside down. I don't know. See, yeah, it says the Code of Honor. Yeah, it's upside down, but anyway. At the end, it says L. Ron Hubbard. But, yeah, it's really, a lot of people have written stuff like that. So it isn't really L. Ron Hubbard. That's what I mean. They're common sense things. That's exactly right, Connie. They're just common sense things that he took and said, this is mine. I wrote it. Once I started reading, I spent 10 years reading books while I was on OT7 and it wasn't working. I started going to bookstores and just reading self-improvement, philosophy, stuff like that. And they all had stuff like this and better, much better stuff. It was really, really wild. Okay, so now Connie asked query. So the e-meters are all just a bunch of bunk? They're like a lie detector test. I don't think they're a bunch of bunk, but I don't think they're what they say they are. They're like a lie detector. They really are, and they hate hearing that. They hate people saying that. That's not true. It's different than that. Those sound just like common sense things. That's right. Okay, Sophie, I think not everyone sees everything in Scientology has definitely degenerated a lot. It has. It definitely has. I mean, there is no question about that. I mean, when I got in, it was a whole different thing than it is now. I mean, like Bob Minton said, how could you get into something like this? I don't get it. And we stayed up all night. And I told him about the 1969 and the early 70s and what Scientology was like then. And at the end of the night, he said, I would have joined. No question about it. It was a big party back then. Not for all the Sea Org. I'm not saying for them. They probably, even then, some of my friends that were in the Sea Org then agree it was still way better than it is now. Miscavige was just such a creep. So let's just get that straight. David Miscavige. Okay, I know LRH was an egomaniac, so he had to put his name on everything. Exactly. Very well said. Okay, I've always had an e-meter. I've always heard the e-meter was a crude lie detector test. Exactly. And they always fight that. They fight that like mad. Hey, Sophie, honey, I feel so relaxed when I get here. Good. That's good. And thank you, Sophie, for helping create that space and keeping the... There you go. All right. And here is from Joe. Hey, Tori, mods and chat. Hello. So there you go. That's that. Are you in contact with Serge and Michael? No, they won't talk to me. Serge, here's what actually happened. Michael, I was sitting with some friends, Jessica and a few other people. This was months ago. Michael came storming down L. Ron Hubbard Way and started bawling me out, saying I was responsible for Serge's torture. And I said, pardon me? I don't even know Serge. I didn't ever know anything about any of this. And I didn't. And he got really mad and he said, that's what all of you people say. And anyway, he was just kind of spouting Serge's thing. Serge came the next night. I said, hey, I want to meet you. And he said, no. And he walked away. And I took someone with me as a witness. And I went down there and I said, Serge, I really want to talk to you. And he said, no. And then he looked away and he just rattled off all these lies about me that were not true and generalities, and it just wasn't true. And then he looked back at me and he said, and that's it. And I said, okay, so the rest is on you, Serge. If you want to talk to me, I'm happy to talk to you. But I'm not going to sit there and, just be pounded to death by someone who really has never met me. You might have listened to my videos, and I get you have been through an incredible amount of trauma. So have I. It's a different kind of trauma, but having had grand mal seizures where I nearly died and the doctor said 5 more minutes and you would be dead, and that's because of Scientology. So I have my own abuse that I've lived through for a long, long time. So I understand, but you should have compassion for me as much as I have compassion for you. That's the way I feel about all of us. It's like it doesn't help any of us to be against each other. The only people that help on that is the Office of Special Affairs. That is their goal. And you want to support them, that's your thing. But it's not mine. And I have nothing against you. I have empathy for all the shit that any of you kids went through. That was awful, but I did not know about it. And people can say I did. Okay, come over and interview me and let's find out. Honestly, I don't. And anyone that won't come meet with you, to me, is a little fishy. Not that Serge is fishy, but the fact that he won't meet with me or even hear my side of things is just, come on, not cool, man. It really isn't. And so there you go. That's my story with Serge and Michael. And Michael was really mean to me. And, I get it. He loves Serge, and I'm really happy they're together. And I love their trip to Italy. They looked so happy. It really did. Oh, good. Look, Sophie's got here's a Serge interview. Did a great interview on Kayla's channel, Mental Health Matters. It really is good. Okay, good. Thank you. Can you send that to me, though? Because once I post this up, then I won't have it. And I definitely want to hear it. He's had some good interviews. I have heard some of his around just poking around. And I'm like, wow, that's good. And I'm really happy he's speaking out. There's no question about that. Everyone has different trauma to deal with. They do. And different degrees of it. But of course he's real. And so are you. I'm not saying he's not real. I'm just saying, we should come together and not be apart. I think they should have a conversation and clear up the misunderstanding, because everyone can agree that Scientology is a problem. You should watch the interview I posted, Tori. Okay, I will. I will for sure if you send it to me. I've been speaking out way before Serge left. I've been speaking out since 2000. Most of the activists that are now out were still in the church when I was out, and nobody would stand up for me. It was awful. It was really heavy. It was heavy being in, and it was really heavy being out and being attacked by Scientology and trying to say, look, I worked for these guys. This is OSA. And people would say, no, it isn't. You think everyone's OSA. Well, who do you think came up with that sentence? Think about it. Who came up with that? Tori thinks everyone's OSA. Boom. Hi, Bill Yachty. You can say it all you want, but you are failing, man. It doesn't matter. I don't care if these people like me or not. I like them, but if they want to buy your stuff, I've said it since 2000. It's up to them. It's up to the person. But the least I believe is a person should call me up and talk to me and then go, you know what? I talked to her. I thought she was way different than she was from what people had told me. Most people don't say shit about me anymore. But, if they do, you're welcome to ask me. I'm happy. I don't have anything to hide. I don't. Tori, I'm sorry he acted that way to you. They seem like they've detached themselves from almost all the protesters in LA since Michael. Oh, shit. Wow. That's too bad. But everybody has to do what they have to do. That's my thing. It's like losing weight. There's all kinds of different ways to lose weight, but you have to find what works for you. I tried every diet in the world that you can think of that I'd ever heard of, and I'd lose weight, and then I'd always gain back more every time. Lose the weight, gain back more. Lose the weight, gain back more. So I went from 20 pounds overweight to 100 pounds overweight. And one of the diets was Atkins, which is like high protein and vegetables. And I just couldn't do it. I could do it a little bit, and then I'd just blow it and go out and eat all kinds of carbs and stuff. And I watched it, and men can do Atkins. They can. They're pretty happy with protein and vegetables and stuff. But women, we need our carbs. That's my view. That's what I think. We need our carbs. And so you've got to find something where you can eat a little bit of carbohydrates or chocolate a day. Like I went to Norway, I didn't gain a pound. And everybody goes, yeah, but you were walking all the time. I said, no, I wasn't. We weren't walking at all. But it's just that they have really clean food, whole food, and delicious chocolate. And it's just a little bit of it. Really good. Okay, thank you, Sophie. Okay, so you're going to send me that because he's explaining himself really well. And he mentioned you at one point. It was really constructive. Oh, good. Well, I'm happy to hear that. I really am. Because if there's one thing more than anything, I want to help people like Serge, where it's just like they've been through so much. And I know that OSA still has a huge goal to tear apart the second gens and screw them up and stuff like that. And I'm hoping it's coming around where they're getting it together, because they deserve to have their support. You know what I mean? To be supportive of each other, just all of us. It's just sort of like I tell people all the time. I have one friend that always says to me, "Why do you talk to all those people on the internet?" And I go, because when I left, I had no friends. You were still in the internet. You were still in the church. Nobody was talking to me but the internet people. And you guys have, and I don't know if many of you were there in 2000, but to this day, you are my friends. It means a lot to me that you come on my site and you post and you ask questions and you care. And that means a lot to me. I can't tell you. It really does. It's an amazing thing. And I want to thank you. I really do. I can't thank you enough. But anyway, there you go. Now I forgot what I was going to say, Tori, because he's explained. Oh, that's good. All right. Yes, I definitely have to hear that. Communication is the universal solvent. That's what Hubbard says in the very first communication course. Communication is the universal solvent. And I told you, but maybe you missed it. But the first time I was on the communication course, I thought, well, that sounds good. And it sounded like my parents. My parents were kind of that way too. They did believe that. They believed in communication, trying to talk things out rather than fight things out. But then I came outside and there were these two SeaWorld guys just yelling at each other. And I thought, now, wait a minute. What happened to the communication is the universal solvent? And that's when I started what I call the closet. I didn't think of it analytically that way, but it was just sort of like, it's almost like Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind. And most of you maybe never even saw that, but the guys that did know, it's like, I'll think about that tomorrow. I can't think about it right now. And that's how it was. It was just like, because they always keep you really busy in a cult. We got to go. Come on, hurry up, Tori. Get over there. You got to get that done. Get it done really right now. And you're like, okay. So people are like zooming around. And even if no one is ordering you, because I wasn't in the Sea Org, but you have it in your head. You've always got to keep going. It's very weird. So anyway, yeah, he says that. I think my parents were way better at that than Hubbard was. That's nice. I'm really glad to hear that. I can't wait to hear it. I'm glad he did another one. I heard another one that he did too. I think it was with Jamie Mustard, who I also want to meet. He's another person. Okay, Maui, yes, I agree. Ooh, now, what are you agreeing with? Maui. Communication is the universal solvent. Okay. Kelly. All right. Oh, so sorry that happened. If Ono, Nora, and Mitch Brisker can have a calm conversation, then anyone can. Well, I helped on that. That was definitely something that I was really happy came about. I really was. Hi, Nanya. Hey, all. Fluffer Squirrel UK. I love that name. Hi, girl. How are you? We all should come together. I agree with you. Yeah, it's the best way. I mean, it is the worst thing that Osa and Miscavige can see happen is us coming together. It's like, wait a minute, they're friends? Like Mitch Brisker and Spanky and Tori are friends? No, get this, cut it in half. So I was really happy to see Nora and his interview. It was very good. Hi, Flapper. Adrian. All right. If everyone is OSA and no one is OSA, classic distraction, confusion tactic. Right. Yeah, I've never said everyone is, but I say everyone is. Thank you for everything that you've done, Tori. 24 years of speaking out as a clear voice. Thank you. Thank you very much, Witness. I really appreciate that. It means a lot to me. It really does. And I've hung in there. You got to admit, I'm 77 years old. I left when I was 53. So that's a long time to be speaking out. Hey, Adrian. Hey, Kelly. Fluffer Squirrel. All victim stories are valid. We can all agree on that. Absolutely. And I don't even like to call them victims because to me, they're survivors. They survived whatever happened, they're surviving. And victims, to me, it just puts the attention on what was done to them and makes less of them a little bit. I know you don't mean that, Sophie, but to me personally, having been abused, I look at it as I'm a survivor. I survived it. I'm not a victim. I would have been a victim if I would have stayed. The guys that are in are victims. And if you're listening to this, you are. You need to come out. And you know what? The way out is the nearest door. That's right. Open it up and walk out. You just have to think about it. LRH's quote was, the way out is the way through. Right? So you had to keep going on the bridge of total freedom. Did he? Hell no. He took off because it didn't work and he left. And left a little note saying, oh, I'm off doing research, in the universe. All right. Sure. Hey, Witness. Hey, Flapper. You guys are cute. All right. Everybody's saying hi. Hi, 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 hi. That's too bad, Joe. I'm sorry to hear that. Do you ever use Vicks Vapor Rub? Believe it or not, it's an old corny thing for when we were kids, but it really helps break up your chest pains. Tori, so Michael posted a short video talking about the PTSD he's experienced since his arrest. Not sure if they have distance from the protesters because of the conflicts or because of Michael's health. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. It's a tricky thing. You need to take. I mean, I say that to everyone. If you need to take time off, because there's no shame in that, and sometimes you need to. Sophie, that's cool. I've been raised a vegetarian since birth. Wow, my country is famous for our meat. So we were freaks. Wow, good job, girl. That is really impressive since birth. I don't think I know anyone that's a vegetarian since birth, but they could be, and I just don't know. Afila, hi. Everyone has their story. Very true. Oh, thank you, Joe. That's very kind. Thank you. It's interesting. It's been an interesting trip. It really has, and it's been fun meeting all of you guys. Some say they've been around since 2000. Our health is what's important. I hope Michael's resting up. Everyone deserves peace. Yeah, hopefully. Rest is a big deal. I hope he can. Yeah, we all hope you get relief soon. Rest and getting better. That's right. You will. That's the nice thing about being sick. You get better. It's just the way it is. Oh, good. Never in, always again. Scarlett is my idol. Yeah, it's a cool movie. If you've never seen it, watch Gone with the Wind. It's really a great show. I love that little girl that was going to deliver the baby. And she said, I don't know nothing about birth, and I don't know nothing about birth. I think she got an Academy Award for that. I've never heard of the Mental Health Matters channel. Can you tell us a little about it? Okay. Yeah, tell us about it, Sophie. Ah, your favorite film. Cool. Would love to see you and Jamie Mustard have a conversation. Please invite him to your channel. I will. He told Spanky that he's watched a lot of my videos. I'm doing Atkins. All right. Rather be in Maui. Any program is a long-term change in eating habits. So far, so good. Easing back into carbs slowly. Good. Okay, Keiko, I'll link it. Kayla and her friend do interviews. She was watching Scientology for years. Cool. Ooh, you have it opened and ready to go. Okay. Link to interview again. All right, here's the interview, I think with Serge, right? Excuse me. Oh, yeah. It's been a terrible time for Serge. But you have to look at each ex-Scientology differently. Not everyone was involved in the same destructive behaviors as others. Many weren't at all. I know people were, that's probably why my ex-husband is still in, because he was never part of any of this shit. So, he was he was born in it. He's like born in it. His parents got in 1950, so that's a long time ago. Hi, Tiff. Sophie, I grabbed a link for later, so it's never a channel. It's never a channel about mental health and Scientology. I grabbed a link for later. So it's a never-end channel about mental health and Scientology. Well, Serge isn't a never-end. I mean, he's Sea Org, ex-Sea Org now. I think, unless that's a different thing you guys are talking about. I'll shut up. This is the wrong word? For what? Now I forgot what. You got to say, when you say that was the wrong word, that's the word. Then I know what you're talking about. Hey, everyone. Sorry to be so late. No problem with Hobie. Oh, that's so funny. Aw, thank you, no one. Tori, you're so cool. When the Sea Org, it was always go, go, go. All I wanted to do was sleep for the long time after hours. I know I've heard that from many, many people that were in the Sea Org. It takes a while to recover from it. It does. Do you see beauty in life? Me? Absolutely. That's my thing. Is my mom taught me that when I was a little girl. She said every day you can either decide, you wake up and you can either decide you can have a good day or a bad day. So that's up to you, number one. And number two, she said, I want you to go out every day and find something to be grateful for, something beautiful, something you like, and be grateful for it. It really helped me. I do it every day. I do. She was cool. My parents were really cool. Yes, everyone was in the iron corner getting their own type of abuse. You'd never realize it so much except when I had these parties. I had them for 14 years because I lost all my friends. So I started having parties with a couple people that were old friends of mine, like Spanky was an old friend from CC from the early 70s. So it was her, Granberry, Hector, who's now dead, and a few other people, and then more people came and more people and more people and more people, and people started flying in, and it was something else. But everybody, I mean, to this day, we can all get together and we're like, different people over here talking about this, over here talking about that. It's like, I was in this room, you were in that room. What happened in your room? We're still connecting those dots. It's so weird. Sorry if typos glasses off. Okay, don't worry about it. It's fine. Okay, everyone comes into the real conversation with their bias based on their life experiences. We all need to have that grace and empathy for each other's situations. Exactly. That's my point exactly. It's like, and that's, you feel the best when you do that also. Keiko, yes, it's about trauma, and they are doing some really good interviews, giving people a chance to tell their stories. Cool. I love your silver lining Chihuahua files. That's cute. I love that. I love your silver lining mentality. It's refreshing. Can I ask you if you remember a person from Scientology, or would you rather me email you? No, you can ask me. I don't know that I'll remember them. I'm very bad at names. So I'm good with faces, bad with names, but you can ask me. Verity, exactly. That's our Soapy. And here's Keiko saying, thank you for the information, Sophie. And here's Joe. Tori, remember I was in the hospital after an electric shock at work on the 24th. I've still been off with inflammation muscles around my heart and chest area. Not caught you live since. Well, you're live with me now, right? I think you've been on a few times, but anyway, I'm happy you're here now. And thank you for reminding me about that, because that was pretty spooky. But it sounds like you're better. I'm hoping that you're better. I really am. But you will be. I know you will be. Even if you're still kind of in the middle of getting better. That's the good thing about being sick. It's the only good thing about being sick, is that you get better. And I mean, you either get better or you die. And I don't think you're at that point where you're going to die. So you're going to get better. Period. Question. Speaking of Mitch Brisker, do you manage to engage with him and not have him drive you crazy? I find him to be so annoying and on both sides of Scientology issues. He and I have worked it out, because he was being kind of annoying, and I would just call him on it every time. I'd say, you cut me off, or, whatever it was. It's not him in general, because I like him. He's a good guy, and he knows a lot of stuff. It's just, he has certain ways of doing things. And, he said, I already, in knowing you just, I don't know, a couple of weeks, he said, I could write a book about all the things you've taught me in just a short time. Because I go, wait, time out. This isn't going to work. Think of this, not that, that kind of thing. And so, yeah, we're working it out, and we're going to do a show together soon. And I'm going to post it. I'm going to do my first scheduled interview, because I've never scheduled an interview. Your parents were vegetarians since the 70s. Wow, boy, they were really early. Before I was born. So yeah, born and raised. Good for you, Sophie. You've got to be super healthy. I mean, that's all I can say. That's like supersonic. Mitch doesn't even answer direct, simple questions. He does if you, it's like, the way I look at it is, we all have funky things that we could do better. And if somebody will say, wait a second, you never answered this question, and it really drives me nuts. Can you just please answer? It's a simple question. I want you to answer it. And, he's coming along. That's all I can say. It's kind of like he's going through his own stuff. He's only been out for a few years. So, give him a break. And he will answer direct questions. For me, he does all the time, because that's the way I am. It's like, wait a minute, wait, I asked you this, please answer it. I mean, you can see me here. I'm very definite on things that I need, because otherwise it just drives me nuts. So that's just the way it is. And it's like, some people don't like it, and they, maybe it's too restrictive or something like that. But for me, it's part of my own, to keep it going. I need to do that. I need to have people answer. If I ask a question, I want to get an answer. And if they don't, I'll talk to them. Like one time, to give you an example, I was working at Mace Kingsley here in LA, not the ranch, Mace Kingsley, the school, for a very brief time. And have you ever heard of new math? Anyway, new math came up, and that I was supposed to teach it. And I'm bad at math anyway. And new math is insane. And they have a thing called qualifications rundown, qual, which is where you're supposed to be able to go to qual, which is qualifications, and they can answer any kind of questions that you have. So I would go in there to ask this lady, and she would always give me these really dirty looks, right? And, I'd just say, do you have a problem with me or something? And she said, no. So finally I sat down and I wrote her a letter, and I said, look, you're an embarrassment to New York, because I knew she was a New Yorker. And I said, most New Yorkers will at least come up to you and say, I hate you. Don't ask me these stupid questions anymore, right? Or something. I said, I don't care what you want to say, but come to me and say it directly. Don't keep giving me these dirty looks like, I'm bothering you or something. This is your job. And she took me out to lunch. She said, I am so sorry and so thankful that you pointed this out. I didn't know I was doing it. I'm sorry. And, it really ended up being a cool thing. But it was from me being direct with her about, you're not being direct with me. You know what I mean? You're not answering my questions. So, you can always do that too. Send them a little thing on Facebook and just say, look, I don't know if you know this, but I've tried to ask you a few questions, and it seems like I always get cut off or you don't answer it. Could you please, this is the question I have, and ask him a question and see if he answers it. And if he doesn't, you can come here and tell me. I have to pound him. All right. So I always think of Carol Burnett's Gone with the Wind skit. Hilarious. Totally. I know. Oh God, she's funny. Can you please ask your questions respectfully? We're not here to put others down. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Sophie. Yeah, because but I understand what she's trying to do. She's just trying to say that, that's her particular problem, and hopefully we handled it. There you go. But thank you, Sophie. I think I already answered that. Yes, I do see beauty in life. I don't know how you could not. How could you live life every day without seeing beauty in it? I still watch it occasionally. I know I watch some of them on YouTube because they're really old ones. If you haven't seen Carol Burnett, type in the Carol Burnett show on YouTube. This is a good one too. Witness, funniest ever, the dentist skit and the elephant skit on Carol Burnett. Totally. That and the other one I used to love is the Honeymooners. They are right to the moon, Alice. Yep, contradictory responses. Well, good morning from the Netherlands. Holland is old-fashioned these days. The Berzen. Oh, actually, that's a different language. Okay, cool. Hi, Justice. Cool, from the Netherlands. I love that. And this is Perth. All right. Hello from Western Australia. Oh, nice. listening to you while I'm cleaning, which is always a good thing. All right, and here's Justice. Good morning from the Netherlands. Okay, I'm just awake because the neighbors have started drilling. Oh, that's always hard when that happens. Did everyone hit the like button? Okay, now this is from Sophie. Question, Tori, you named the video front groups. So how are these groups used to recruit and distribute Scientology? Okay, good question. They're not, I don't think I said they're video front groups. They're just front groups that I think parents should know about. Narcanon, like they have the Narcanon drug education program in all the public schools here in California. And once Dave Turetsky, who's a professor at Carnegie Mellon, and he's also a critic, and he called me and he said, look, this is a mess. We're gonna expose this. And I said, okay. And he said, but we need someone that was in to talk to them. And I said, okay, have the journalist call me. And the main thing I was able to say is 100% Narcanon is under the umbrella of the Church of Scientology International. Because see, that's the thing. They always say, well, we don't have anything to do with Scientology. We're Narcanon. We're helping get people off of drugs. I mean, now I think it's gotten trickier because they have to kind of fess up and say it. But anyway, point being, that's one, Narcanon. Applied Way to Happiness is another one where they pass out these free booklets of Way to Happiness. I'm trying to think if I have one here. I thought I did. Anyway, it's sort of like the 10 Commandments. It's their version of it, where it's just like always tell the truth and stuff like that. But they basically milk dentists and physical therapists to pay for the books, saying, here's the deal. We've surveyed the area and the kids have a big button on drugs, let's say. So we're going to pass out the Way to Happiness, which will teach them about not using drugs. And then we're going to put your name on the back of all of them. So you'll get promotion on it. And it costs thousands of dollars. They milk these guys for, if you're a dentist or a doctor or a physical therapist, don't ever put your money in that. It's a gigantic waste of money. But anyway, that's one. So they give it away. And it just looks like L. Ron Hubbard is a good guy, right? Which you and I know that's a long stretch. But anyway, that's one. And then the other one is Applied Scholastics, again, where they get it in the schools for study tech. And I'm not saying study tech is bad. The original study tech I always liked, which was very simple and look up words and demonstrate things and stuff like that. But now it's gotten really complicated, and it's way, I don't think it's good. And I certainly don't think it's good in a public school. So you as parents have to check it out and see, are they using any of Hubbard Management Tech or anything, any of the study tech, Narcanon, Way to Happiness? And if they are, then you have to educate them on, look, this is, because we have a thing where you cannot have a cross of religion and state. They have to be separate, religion and state. So that's how we got Narcanon kicked out, because their information that they were using about Narcanon is the same that they use in the Church of Scientology. So then they said, okay, you got to get all the religious stuff out or you're out. And they couldn't do anything because keeping Scientology working, you can't change it. So bye. So we got them out of the whole state of California. So that was cool. But anyway, I always tell people, go find out, because you're the only one. And the other thing is to go, I recommend you sit in on your child's class like a couple times. So you kind of see what is their day like. You know what I mean? Because Mace Kingsley was a mess. I mean, it was a disaster. And, I wrote it up to her. I said, this guy doesn't know how to run a class at all. And she said, okay, then you go in and tell him you're going to tutor him or something. I forget what she said. But anyway, he walked out. He just quit. And that was it. And so now I inherited the class, and I took it over for a couple of months. I got the kids all back. It was like a train off the tracks. They were nuts. And I got them all back on track. And then I got my son out of it because she didn't know anything about education, really. Not really. She didn't. So anyway, I just didn't want him there. Okay, now who is this wonderful soul? Irish Mart. Good morning, all you beautiful people in Tori. Thank you. Thank you for coming. New name. All right, Justice. My experience in the Netherlands is that it's old-fashioned in some ways, but very advanced in others. Sounds cool. All right, what is your vision? What is your vision in a beauty of life? Flowers, smells, people, nature. I love. There's beauty in all kinds of areas of life. To me, it's. I don't know what you're asking on it. Really, what's yours? Why don't you tell us yours? Okay, and this is Mitch and Nora. Okay, thank you for that. And then this is Chihuahua Files. All right. Mercedes and James Karubian. Ooh, Armenian. Mercedes passed in 2003 and James is 91. I'm not sure if they were members of Scientology. I'm not sure why you're bringing them up. You have to let us know a little bit of the backstory of why you're mentioning it. Okay, this is Joe again. I think Mitch has a different way of putting stuff across. I actually started to like him after the chat with Nora. Good. All right, good. All right, and new name. I wish people would stop putting Mitch down. He is new to the real world and learning a lot. Exactly. I mean, anybody who tells me they could write a book after talking to me for a week is, that's somebody who's listening and paying attention. He's trying. Do you see what I mean? So give him a break. It's like the guy knows more than all of us together. He's been around Miscavige for 30 years, or at least 20 years. I don't know how many exactly, but he's been around him for a long time. And in one meeting with him, he taught me two things that I never knew. And I've told him to many, many people. Nobody ever knew what it was. Mitch knew what it was. And I went, wow, that's right. I said, okay, that's it. Dosa and Miscavige want us to hate him. So don't. It's like, it's just stupid, when you think about it. Because I thought about it. I thought, oh, wait a minute, this guy's got to know a lot of stuff. And sure enough, he does. He said, Tori, that's nothing, what he told me. And I said, it's not nothing to me. It's a big deal to me. And it's something I've told at least 50 to 100 people. And nobody knew what he knew about it. So there you go. I mean, it's not a big deal, I'd tell you guys, but it wouldn't be a big deal. You'd go, I don't know, that's not a big deal. But I'm just saying people with information are good people to have around. I don't watch creators I don't like. All right, that's fair. I mean, I don't like to talk to people I don't like either. But generally I will, because oftentimes there's a surprise inside of a meeting, someone who we don't like. Like there were two Scientologists when I was in Scientology, and just about everybody hated the men. They were both very good businessmen, but they didn't hate them, but they really didn't like them. And they're like, oh no, I don't like that guy, and I don't like that guy. But I knew their wives, and their wives were really cool. And I thought, you know what? These women would not marry creepy guys. They just wouldn't. I knew them. It's like, no, there's got to be something other than this guy behind the facade that we see that's so like, I'm a businessman. I don't have time for you, right? So I made it my little goal to get kind of over their own little mountain or wall or whatever you want to call it and get to their heart. And each one of them, they were like teddy bears. Once you got to them, they were just so sweet. It was really interesting. And we were friends forever because of that, because it's like not many people find them. They don't. They just go, oh, they're creeps. That's it. And I'm kind of like, well, wait a minute. Let's just poke around a little bit. But that's me. Yeah, he just left 3 years ago, I think. Yeah. The discussion with Nora was really interesting. Yes, exactly. I think that your chat is so cozy because you are reading and answering every message. Now everyone gets to know each other. Well, that's good. I don't really know, I kind of don't know how to do it. I'm not, like when Lovett is here, she can highlight things if there's too many questions, because then it takes too long. But as it is, it seems like it works out, and everybody, you guys seem like you're okay on it. If you're not okay, I want you to tell me. But thank you, Justice. I appreciate that. And here's Witness saying that's the truth. See, there you go. And new name, I agree. I think it's important to remember he's not been out that long, and he's got a funny way of saying things sometimes. We all, everybody has to figure out their way of, shedding brainwashing. New math, threw my parents for a loop too. Okay, the compromise was I learned basic skills in old math method and then learned the new rules to new math at school. Well, I knew old math from growing up. I mean, that's what we learned, but I could not get the new math, and I have yet to meet anybody. So if I ever get to talk to you, YRB, I want you to help me with it, just because it's one of those things. I've never met anyone who goes, oh yeah, new math, I know how to do that. Everybody I talk to goes, yeah, I don't know. It's like Martian talk. It's really weird. But good for you. B. Taylor, hey, Tori, and lovely chatters. Hello. Comment. Love the Carol Burnett Gone with the Wind where she wears the drapes. I know. Classic show. And for people who never saw it or never will, she was this beautiful woman. Was that where she was living at their mansion, and they were going to get rid of the curtains, right? And so she decided to make them into a dress. I think that's it. I might be getting it mixed up with Sound of Music. But anyway, I know it's funny. YRB, hi there. Okay, now this is Connie Witness. Okay. All right. Verity, you have to probe with Mitch. He just likes to hear the song. Now, don't. Okay, that's it on that. We're done with Mitch. Okay, I'm going to interview him pretty soon. And then after that, you can make some, talk to him. But I don't want to spend the whole night talking about Mitch. It's like we've already spent way too much time with it. And that's enough. I asked what is your vision about life? Okay, what's yours? It's like, I don't like people that ask me that. We're in a chat. What's my vision of life? Are you serious? What's your vision of life? My vision of life is to have a wonderful day every day. And I do. That's it. I have a very simple feeling about life. I don't have big plans or anything like that. I want to have a happy life, and I do. And I want to enjoy my family and my friends, and I do. That's it. That's basically it. But I'm 77, so I'm a little older than you are. And so I used to have different things that I would think was very important that you had the vision for life. I don't. I finally realized, no, you don't. You really don't. You really need to enjoy today. That's what most people miss, because they're worrying about their vision for life. I'm not saying you can't. For you, if you've got it and you've got it together, good for you. It's just not part of my life. My vision was, it's been a number of different things depending on what area of my life you met me in. So there you go. And I don't want to talk about me, so there you go. Yes, the Flintstones was based off of the Honeymooners. Really? I didn't know that. Wow, that's funny. Okay, Verity, no, not gonna. I already said that. I meant the word Holland is old-fashioned, except instead of Holland. Okay. I meant the word Holland is old-fashioned instead of Holland. Okay. Who came up with Narcanon? It's not two words. It's all one word. And probably Hubbard. Probably Hubbard or somebody that was working with him. I don't know. By the time I got there in '69, no, I can't remember if they had Narcanon then. I don't know. It's a good question. I meant the word Holland instead of Netherlands. Oh, okay. Query. And wasn't LRH a drug addict himself? I guess he could not heal himself. He was kind of a drug addict. I mean, I didn't know that. And you don't know that when you're in. You have no idea. Imagine me having grand mal seizures because they showed me policies where he said, you have to get off medicine. And then finding out he was popping pills all the time. It's like, really ticked me off. I wrote my reports on the Netherlands on school. Always wanted to visit. Ah, that sounds cool, B. I like that. Okay, so this is from Fluffer Squirrel. The Youth for Human Rights Front Group is very concerning. They're trying to get into schools here in Europe, and people don't know it's a front group. Exactly. So that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about is, people going in and talking to the school, like the head of the school, and talking to them about it and saying, why you have to think it through on what would be your reasoning, like what are they getting out of it and what is the reasoning for getting it out of the school, and something that they can understand. So that's my opinion of it. Okay, scooting down here. No problem, Justice. Okay, and this is witness comment. Tori, Jeff on PTS for Life had a video this AM about law enforcement departments contacting CFS to remove the badges. CFS. Oh, good. Good. See, that's all because of work people have done, talking to them. Thank you. Thank you for letting us know that. That is good. Did you see a lot of child auditing at Mace Kingsley? None. I was teaching a class, and it was a very tiny school here in LA, and I don't even think it lasted long. I think they had, it was just a school. They didn't have auditing. No. Okay, so Verity and Sophie, I'm going to scoot by this because I already asked you guys. We're done with that. Okay, have you tried out your mics yet for ongoing? No, thank you, Joe. Thank you for that. No, I haven't. I haven't yet. I'm trying to figure out how to use them. So I'm reading the manuals on it. What's going on with Danny and Leah? I don't know. I think Leah's on the trip with the girls, Lara. So I have the same thing DOA does, where I want to call her Laura, as Lara. And Danny's back here now. So he went up to visit her and then he came back. So I think they're good. Okay, and this is Afila. No, Fluffer. Need to send information to the education boards. Miriam did something on it, didn't she? Yeah, that's good. Some written. I think it's better to go in and talk to them, though. I do. But it's up to you guys. That's not true, Adrian. That is not. Sophie, Danny's girl is a troll. Leah is not a troll. She's his fiance. Could we cut down on the talk about other creators? Yeah, I think I'm going to end off, really, you guys, because I got to go to bed. Tori does not get into their personal lives. No, it's none of our business. Okay, so just for the record, oh God, thank you. Exactly. All right. Fluffer Squirrel, yes, is starting information whenever she can, but there are also barriers in place at the moment with the police being involved. Wow, yeah, that's spooky. That is spooky. Okay, all right. Well, you guys, okay. Question. Someone asked on Dave's channel how you know you went exterior. I described it as vertigo and like a roller coaster drop for me. Was it like that for you? Also curious if that's just me. I never had it happen. So I talked about it a lot, but I never really experienced it. But that's probably a good description. Uh-huh. She remembers that with the drapes. Yeah, hilarious. I love The Sound of Music too, Sophie. I really do. It's one of my very favorite movies. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, for Brett Butler. That's right. Thank you. I was trying to remember that guy's name. I get it. That's fine. I'm happy you're laughing with me. All right. I agree. That's so good. Okay, good. Yeah, that's part of my life is trying to make everybody. I mean, that's kind of a given that I grew up with, was always try to help someone every day make their life a little bit better. So I'm on the same page as that. All right, Kevin. I don't, but I lived with someone who was depressed, so I'm familiar with it. Uh-huh. Oh, okay. Good to know. Good to know. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to go because I'm really tired. I see that you guys have a lot of things. Good night. Thank you, Adrian. Good night, YRB. Good night, Sophie. Thank you all for coming here. Can I talk about how the front groups are named? I don't know. Way to Happiness is a booklet. Narcanon, it has to do with drugs, and Applied Scholastics is about school, so that's all I know. Okay, well, anyway, later, you guys. Today is what day? Today is Tuesday. So tomorrow is, well, now today is Wednesday. It's actually the 4th. All right, so there you go. So have a nice Wednesday. And I love you guys, and I will talk to you soon. You are very welcome. Thank you, and happy birthday to anybody whose birthday it is, and I will sleep well. Thank you. All right, you guys take care. Adios.